Welcome back, everyone. Oz here, and today I've got some r/AmITheDevil for you all. As per usual, I'll be narrating the post, giving you my opinions, and I hope you do the same down in the comments below. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. I gotta hold the intro for like another second or two because of demonetization stuff, so that's fun. Am I the asshole for commenting on my daughter's personality? Hi, I, 50 female, have been getting some mixed opinions from my family because of how I've spoken about my daughter's personality in recent times. I just wanted some unbiased advice on how to go about this situation. Let me make it clear that I love my daughter, Abby, 19 female, and overall we have a good mother-daughter relationship. My husband and I are very proud of her because she's worked hard over the past few years, graduating high school with amazing results that got her into a very academic university degree, where she is currently in her second year. Abby is my oldest, and I also have a son, Edward, 15 male. Abby is quite different from me and Edward in terms of personality and attitude, which sometimes causes small disagreements between us. She's more like my husband, and I've often joked that she's nothing like Edward and I. Abby has said that these comments make it seem like I'm playing favorites because she cannot help who she is as a person. I'm quite extroverted, and when I was Abby's age, I was always out with my friends on the weekends and barely ever at home. Abby is introverted, and she has quite a few friends, but keeps her social circle small, saying that she values quality over quantity. She sees her friends quite often on weekends, but prefers to go to Pilates or brunch with them instead of going out at night like I did when I was her age. She occasionally goes out at night, but has told me that she is much more of a morning person and likes her 9 p.m. bedtime. I'm worried she's missing out on enjoying these years and encourage her to go out dancing. We recently got into an argument about how Abby spends her weekends because I told Abby that she's been at home on weekends too much recently and should be out meeting new people and having fun with her friends. Abby got angry at me and said that in between her 2 jobs and being a full-time student, the weekends are her only time to rest and recharge. She also said that university has been stressing her out lately because it's the busiest time in the semester, and that she has to be studying and doing assignments for most of the weekend. I reminded her of how I spent my weekends whilst at uni, and she said that times have changed and that she's different from me. Abby visited my parents yesterday afternoon, and I got a call from my mother saying that she does not understand how I'm unhappy with Abby. She said that all I'm doing is pushing her away and creating problems, and was not happy with how I have harshly highlighted that Abby is different from my son and I. I feel that what I said was not harsh at all, and was only trying to get her advice. So am I the asshole for commenting on my daughter's personality? To me it sounds like you want your daughter to be a clone rather than, your daughter. Every person has their own unique and different personalities that are generated from a lifetime of experiences. It sounds like you just want a mini little you that has the same experience and same relatability, but honestly, it's kinda cool that she's more like her father. She has that relatability and you have your son. It's a different dynamic. It's fun. You don't need little clones in the household. If that was the case, that'd be boring as hell. Also, there's nothing wrong with being an introvert. I mean, hell, one of my favorite quotes from Al Capone, of all goddamn people, is I'd rather have 4 quarters than 100 pennies. There's nothing wrong with having a few friends who you can rely on and are quality friends that also understand your introverted tendencies, compared to having 100 random people who you kinda know about, but at the same time, not everyone wants that. Everyone's just a little bit of a different flavor, and that's what makes it fun. Am I the asshole for parting with my friend midway through a Grand Canyon hike? My friend Crystal and I spent 6 months planning and training for a very intense all-day hike of the Grand Canyon. We would go down the South Kaibab and up Bright Angel on Crystal's birthday in June, which would have been over 100 degrees. The 2 weeks before the hike, our friend Valerie said she wanted to join us. Valerie looks way fitter than us. She does CrossFit and has a six-pack, and we assumed she would be fine. On the trip leading up to the hike, Valerie was eating salad while Crystal and I were carb loading with pasta and pizza. Crystal and I each brought 4 liters of water, trail mix, and granola bars, and believe Valerie had packed her bag with the same, as it was all in the hotel room for all of us to share when we packed up the night before. About half of the way down, Crystal and I realized that at the pace Valerie was going, and thus the rest of us, we would not finish the hike before sundown. We told Valerie about our concerns, and she said we should just hike ahead without her, and that she would either catch up or, if it was too much, turn back. We asked if she was really sure about it, and she said she was. So off we went. When we got to the bottom of the canyon, we waited for about an hour at the Colorado River, but did not see her. At that point, we really had to get going, so we would finish the trail before nightfall. We tried to call her from a payphone, but got her voicemail. None of us had reception. We explained the situation to a ranger and they said they look out for her. When we were close to the top and it was actually already dark, we got reception and got messages from her that she had collapsed and had to stay at the lodge at the bottom of the canyon. The lodge is booked months out, but I guess they hold some emergency beds. She would hike out the next day with another group and said not to worry about her. Both Crystal and I were totally destroyed physically, but we got in the car, went and demolished a pizza, then went to sleep at the hotel. Oddly, we found half of Valerie's water and all of Valerie's food at the hotel. I don't want to make too many assumptions about her, but I think it's clear enough to say that it seemed clear she didn't know how to eat during or before a hike, despite our guidance. The next day, Valerie said she would be up by 3 p.m. I was planning to pick her up. However, the one update we got from her was that she would be hours late. 6 p.m. rolled around and she still wasn't up. I left her a voicemail letting her know that we needed to continue on to our next hotel, 1 hour away. We were both feeling really beat up and I didn't think I would have the energy to do the drive much later. I told her in the voicemail that I'd pay for her to Uber to the hotel. Just tell me how much it was. At around 10 p.m., Valerie called me, furious. It took her over 13 hours to hike up and she almost didn't make it. She was suffering from sunstroke. She said she could have died because we abandoned her, and we were really selfish not to stay with her. Am I the asshole? This is a situation where everyone kind of sucks, but OP sucks a lot. If you knew what goes into a hike beforehand, you definitely should have realized from the get-go that your friend Valerie was not ready. I'm from Idaho. I used to do a lot of hikes. One of my favorite hikes was Table Rock. It's a very traditional hike, and I used to do that once a week, pretty much before college. And the first time I did that short hike as part of my morning routine, it ruined my body. I learned the hard way that water and snacks are almost required. I thought that I'd be fine and that I didn't want to risk getting a stomach stitch, so may as well just forego the food and just eat afterwards. Ho ho ho! Was I mistaken? Like, don't get me wrong, Valerie screwed up big time by not doing research. But it was very obvious to OP and their friend that Valerie was woefully unprepared. And as the hike went on, the moment that they realized, oh, we're not going to finish the trail, they should have turned around and just taken that loss. Yeah, that sucks a lot. But at the same time, you got to admit, it's really that you just up and abandon them because they slept for 13 hours straight after putting their body through literally hell. I understand you had hotels scheduled and you had a whole thing planned out, but you should have called ahead, let them know what was going on to make sure that everything would be in check so you could be there for your friend. And you were not. You saw that Valerie was woefully unprepared, you decided to proceed with the hike anyways, during the summer. And from there, left Valerie alone with limited water in the middle of the Grand Canyon. Did Valerie f up by not asking questions? Hey, why am I eating a salad while you guys are eating pizza and carbs? Maybe I should ask about that. Yeah, Valerie should have asked more questions and realized, whoa, I'm not prepared for this. But you really f***ed up by abandoning your friend in the Grand Canyon during the summer. Let's be clear here. You saw that they were woefully unprepared and you left them behind. That's on you. Am I the asshole for posting a heartwarming video of my friend? I, female 26, have a friend who I will call Max, male 28, who has a foster child, Dexter, male 10. Max is a foster parent and has fostered Dexter for the last 3 years. Max and I aren't super close, but his best friend is my sister and Dexter is friends with my son. Basically, I don't understand the whole fostering thing, but from what I do get is Dexter has been upgraded from a temporary placement to a permanent placement with Max, though not adopted. Dexter will now not be moved away from Max and will not be given back to his real parents. Dexter requested this, but it had to be approved by the courts, which they weren't sure would happen because his real parents have been wanting Dexter back. Last week, Max got confirmation from the courts that Dexter had been made permanent. Max decided he wanted to throw a big surprise party for Dexter to announce this to him. Dexter came home from school and was shocked by everyone being there, and his reaction was super cute. Dexter was confused as to why everyone was there, but Max told him they just wanted to celebrate Dexter going into year 6. About halfway through the party, Max started to read out a whole speech. The speech was really sweet and emotional. It spoke about Dexter when he first came to live with Max, how he grew and developed from a small boy scared of the world into a charming and outgoing little man. At the end of the speech, Max said how he had confirmation that Dexter is becoming permanent and will be living with Max forever, and said something like how he's so excited to be able to see Dexter grow up into an adult. As soon as Max finished it, Dexter started to sob, ran to Max and said something like, "I thought you were going to say I had to leave," and they just held each other. It was an incredibly cute moment. Oh mother, motherfucker. Now, I'm an influencer. I do family content on TikTok. I have a decent following. Not like crazy big, but enough. I felt really lucky to have caught the speech in Dexter's little "I thought you were going to say I had to leave" on camera, and I edited it, which took me ages. No, it fucking did not. Don't you fucking lie to me. And posted it on my TikTok page. It was one of the best performing videos, which made me really excited. I sent the link to Max to show him, and I thought he would be excited, but instead, he went absolutely insane at me. He called me screaming at me and demanded I take the video down, like he was scary on that phone call. I initially was hesitant to take it down because it was performing really well, but after an hour I took it down because he said he was going to file a takedown request on my whole account and the video if I didn't remove it myself. Now, my son was invited to go watch a movie at the cinema on Saturday this week, but Max is now saying they won't be going unless they can pick up my son and me not attend, which will not happen. So Max is now excluding my son from meeting up with his friend, which is entirely unfair to my son. First of all, motherfucker, you're the one excluding your son. It was spelled out for you in plain English. Don't try to put this onto them. See, I know what you mean by family influencer. It tells me that your child is constantly on camera and you monetize someone else's child for content, clout, views, and possibly monetization. Don't lie to me. Don't lie to Reddit. Don't lie to yourself. You posted a kid, not just your kid, someone else's child, on the internet without their permission, their consent, or any kind of censorship for that matter, and monetized it. You are not an influencer, you are a content slop creator. Also, as a final little note, Max is the real parent to Dexter. Your little bull insert of Dexter's real parents wanting custody? No. Max is the real parent here. Quick shout out to Hippity Hoppity Boo for finding out that you post this on multiple subreddits. And in the final paragraph on one of those other posts, you stated, "I honestly don't think I'm the asshole because all I did was post a cute nice video of a sweet moment. I will be sending a link of this post to Max so he can hopefully understand with the help of the comments that he needs to apologize to me." You monetized a private moment between a foster father and a foster son being recognized as an official family by the courts, uploaded it without permission, and think you're somehow in the right for that moment, and plan to send this thread to him as a hee I told you so. It's not your decision to make. Go yourself. Am I the asshole, 36 male, for telling my wife, 32 female, the truth about her cognitive abilities? My wife never went to college, nor did she even get good grades. She isn't quick to learn new stuff, let alone stuff that's easy. I suspect she has a low IQ due to this. She mentioned wanting to go to college eventually when our children are older. This got me thinking. I asked her to take the old SAT 1980s just for fun. I said I would do it with her. She scored extremely low, which corresponded to an 87 IQ. I scored decent, which corresponded to my actual IQ, which is 117. I told her all of this. She started crying about how dumb she is. I told her that it's fine, and that I didn't tell her this just to make her feel bad. I told her all of this to make her give up on the aspiration of attending college. The reason being is that people with an IQ below 110 to 115 can't do real college work. Source: Brian White on QR. Oh my, not the Quora source. Oh my God. And we're not done yet. And that if they go to college, they usually do some made-up major or some useless major. My wife told her friend about this, and her friend is furious at me. She called me all kinds of names, which I'm not going to bother mentioning. She's trying to convince my wife that my claims are false, but my wife isn't listening to her. Thankfully. Dude, go f*** yourself. Oh my God. So if you're curious, the 1980s SAT is oftentimes seen as the gold standard in terms of IQ tests. However, I don't personally like it because you can study for it, and on top of that, it really requires you to have an actual high school education and not come from an impoverished community. Let's say your girlfriend had a really shitty teacher growing up and it kind of f***ed up her foundations for education. The 1980s SAT would be one hell of a f***ing aluminum bat to the shins if you didn't have a good school system growing up. If you were from an underfunded community. And that doesn't even get me started on the bull Quora or Quora, whatever the hell it is, quote that you pulled out of nowhere from Brian White, where if you don't have 110 to 115 IQ, That means you can't go to college, apparently. Not to mention, you 100% weaponize this against your girlfriend. I can't even imagine having the cognitive dissonance to say with a full chest, I told her all this to make her give up on the aspirations of attending college, a dream of hers. Followed up with previously stating, I didn't tell her this just to make her feel bad. Just goes to show that just because you have a moderate IQ doesn't mean you have the emotional intelligence to go with it. I also get the bit of a hunch that you may have been extremely active on r/atheism during the 2014 era. Ugh. Am I the asshole for telling my son's preschool teachers that they need to be focused on their students and not their friend's baby, and for emailing the director? Okay, this one will be interesting. My son, 4, goes to a private preschool full-time. They have 14 kids and 2 teachers in his class. Yesterday, I went to pick him up and I saw one of the teachers holding a baby, maybe 9 months old. She was playing with the baby while all the other kids played on the floor, and the other teacher wiped down the tables. Nobody was interacting with the kids that were... Sorry for the pause. I'm gonna come back to this later, but we're already off to a bad start. And I hope that some of you can understand why. Nobody was interacting with the kids that were paying to be there. When the teacher noticed me, she put the baby in the stroller so she could give me my son's stuff, then went back to holding the baby while talking to me. I asked whose baby that is, and the teacher explained that she's one of my son's former teacher's baby, and that she had to take care of an emergency, so they're watching the baby until she gets back, since my son's class has the least amount of kids and older kids that know how to be gentle around a baby. I told the teacher it wasn't fair to the kids to have to change their behavior to accommodate a random baby in the class, or for them to get no teacher interaction because their friend decided to leave her baby with them, and that their job is to watch their students, not their friend's baby. I took my son and let him stay at the playground so we could see how long it took for that teacher to get her kid, and she didn't leave for at least another 30 minutes, so the baby was in my son's class for at least 45. I decided to email the director about the baby in my son's class and how her being there took away from the kids in the class, but all I got was a dismissive email saying that she's sorry I wasn't okay with it, but that the teacher got caught up with an emergency on campus and that my son's room was the safest place for the baby. She also felt the need to remind me that this was during independent play, where there generally isn't much teacher interaction or instruction. My son's teachers were short with me this morning, and my husband thinks I shouldn't have emailed the director or confronted the teachers. He ended up doing pickup this afternoon because of everything. Am I the asshole for confronting the teachers and emailing the director because there was another teacher's baby in the son's room? Yes, you are. Maybe it's just uncommon to have a lot of memories of preschool, but I do. I have a lot of fond memories, from being cocooned in Legos to having to use the prisoner's cinema during nap time because I could never sleep. That's when you rub your fingers on your eyelids to make the funny colors. And just a lot of other goober behavior. It was really common just for the teachers to let us just go ham and do whatever the hell we wanted with, in reason of course, with light supervision. It's normal. It's not like she walked in on the kids being locked in a room alone while the teachers were doing f*** all. In the positions they were in, wiping tables and having a child in their arms they could put down at a moment's notice, they were more than capable of intervening or assisting if it was ever needed. I feel like maybe OP just didn't have preschool, or they've forgotten most of their preschool experience, but this is very common. Like, this isn't out of the ordinary at all. Honestly, you should feel happy about the fact that the teachers can trust your child around an infant to behave properly. That's a massive compliment. They just told you, yeah, your kid's really well behaved to the point where we know that we can have a baby around them. And besides, this was a one-off emergency situation. It's not that big of a deal. 4-year-olds are more than capable of playing with each other and entertaining themselves with light supervision. Am I the asshole for not thanking my friend for helping me get a job and ruining her reputation at the company? Probably. I mean, it sounds like you've answered your own question, but let's find out. I, 30 female, do not need to work as my husband is successful in his career. More or less, I work for play money and to keep myself from dreadful boredom. My previous job was draining. Management was disorganized, high turnover. It was a mess. I went to my friend, 23 female, of several years who works at a cafe. For the sake of things, we'll call her Miranda. She expressed in the past it being flexible and her coworkers were down to earth. I asked her if they were hiring. She said they were, but she'd like to discuss with her manager if us working together would be alright. I didn't want Miranda being the reason I got the job, so I jumped the gun and applied before she talked with the manager and didn't mention our friendship until after being hired. I realized how bad this sounds and completely accept I'm the ass in that situation. but it's not the situation I'm seeking judgment for. The job was not what I expected. Miranda said her manager was flexible, but I quickly got in trouble for asking off too many weekends. In my interview, I said I'd take as many hours as I could have. I changed my mind after realizing how demanding the job was and asked for my hours to be reduced. Miranda expressed management was getting frustrated with me. I wasn't putting in enough effort. I appeared cranky, and I represented myself differently in the interview. I told Miranda both her and her boss represented the job differently, not myself. Miranda left after that and ignored most of my messages. After a month, I finally met with her to see what was up. She told me I never showed any gratitude for helping me get the job, and my entitled attitude completely ruined how her coworkers perceive her. In Miranda's words, I was selfish to both her and the company and had a piss-poor attitude. To my surprise, my husband did not come out and agree with her, but he said I did seem eager to work there at the beginning compared to now. Am I the asshole? Honestly, I was kind of thinking/hoping that you just spread a lot of gossip about her, but this is somehow arguably worse. I don't like saying this, but you live a very privileged life to the point where you're looking at a job as more of a way to get play money and see it as more of a game than an actual way to survive. We have a few comments gathered by Sadly the Worst, the goat of this subreddit, copied verbatim from OP's comments. You're the asshole. She asked you to wait until she talked to her manager before you applied. You refused. You went into the situation with a really poor work ethic and a bad attitude, knowing that people are aware of your friendship with Miranda and that it would reflect poorly on her. I hope she drops you because she deserves better friends. I said I know I was an ass when it came to applying before Miranda had the conversation with her boss. I realized that. Seeing as she has no one else but me, I don't see her getting any better friends in the future. Go f yourself. Oh my god. Holy hell, that reeks of mean girl venom. Good god, my skin is crawling from that. Yeah, everyone sucks here. Miranda represented the job to you, albeit very slightly with the flexibility. But you did represent yourself somewhat falsely in the interview, and that's causing stress to the management, who honestly should just give you less hours and get over it, but yeah, this is just a mess on all ends. I'm gonna be honest, this is a very generous comment, and I do very fundamentally disagree with it, because flexible doesn't mean you get to take every weekend off when you're scheduled, because normally that gets shoved off onto some poor soul who actually had their weekend off, who now has to come in because you were like, I don't want to. This is just play money, you understand, right? Let's see how she responded. I thank you for at least understanding my view. I was given a completely different rundown of the job than the one I actually worked. Sadly the Worst, as per usual, has posted a photo of an animal, and this one's on someone's Instagram, so that link is down below in the description. So here it is here, and I think this will hopefully make up for yesterday's PetSmart comment. Am I the asshole for smoking at family events when my sister has a newborn? Oh my god. I'm not a big smoker, but I can't get over the title. Holy hell. Okay. I'm not a big smoker, but enjoy having a cigar at family events like cookouts. This has never been an issue for years. My sister recently had a newborn baby, 6 to 8 months, and brought him out for the first time a few months ago so the family can be introduced to him, but ended up leaving early. We recently had another family event and my parents called and asked me to promise not to smoke, otherwise my sister wouldn't come, because she doesn't want her kid to be exposed to the smoke because it may cause health issue. The family event is outdoors, the smoke disperses, and I didn't see why I should need to stop smoking when she's the one with the issue. I said I would be smoking and she ended up not coming. My parents didn't talk to me except to complain when I smoked my cigar. Am I the asshole? Now listen guys, I'm not a big smoker, but at family events, I have to have my cigar. If I don't have my cigar, then I'm not coming. If you have a problem with me having my cigar, then you shouldn't come. That's your issue, not mine. And remember, I'm not a big smoker, so this is on you, not me. I'm gonna stop with the straw man, I'm sorry. But my point still stands. He claims to be not a big smoker, but needs to have that cigar during family cookouts. Also, side tangent, and this is probably a bit much to share, but while I don't smoke, personally, I hate that I find the act of smoking to be really f***ing hot and attractive. But I just hate the fact that it smells horrible. Why can't the tobacco eggheads fix that, huh? You guys have had like an entire century to get that under control, but no! Okay, degenerate preferences aside though, the fact that the title alone says what it does, tells me everything I need to know. Like, am I the asshole for smoking around a newborn? Yes. Like, I don't have a problem if you want to smoke. It's your life, it's your choice, but you do need to be conscious about those around you. And if that's too much to ask, then yeah, you're the asshole in this scenario. Am I the asshole for taking away my kids' Spotify accounts? So I, 44 male, have 4 kids. My daughter, Esther, 14, my son, Ozzy, 10, and twin daughters, Jen and Jill, 9. And they like the same types of music, and I have no problem with them listening to music, but there are some artists that I don't want them listening to. And there's this artist I don't want them listening to and they like, and have been secretly listening to. And I gave them tons of warnings, but yesterday was the last straw when I got home from work and they were listening to them. So I made my decision to disable their Spotify accounts and they were pissed, especially Esther. And one of my friends told me that I was kind of an asshole for that, but am I the asshole? So take a guess as to what the music could be. It's Billie Eilish, according to the user, who's since deleted all their comments on this thread. And on top of that, the reason why he doesn't like it is not because of any like messages or that kind of stuff. It's just because he personally dislikes the artist. So I actually like Billie Eilish. All right, I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. I don't get the hate for it. It's my cup of tea. I understand that not everyone likes that kind of music, and that's fine. Yeah, there are some definitely mature themes within the music, but there's a lot of mature themes in a lot of music, and that's just normal. If you took the approach of the fact that you just don't like the mature themes and don't think your kids are ready, that could be a bit more understandable, but they're still gonna listen to it because they like that music. But no, it seems you're taking the approach of you just don't like Billie Eilish as an artist, and that's why your kids aren't allowed to listen to it. Like, buddy, you are speedrunning your kids growing up to resent you. Just as a heads up, just get ready for that. There's also the fact that OP is just arguing with anyone who disagrees and is calling him the asshole in the situation. And even as a comment like this, well, considering all my kids don't even have a driver's permit yet, I think I can decide a lot of things for them. Apparently this also includes music taste because you've made it clear that you don't like Billie Eilish because you just don't like her as an artist. Like, your daughter's just gonna listen to Billie Eilish with her friends. You're not gonna stop that. You're just gonna really make your kids dislike being around you. Hey, so if you're eating, you might want to skip this one. If not, I did warn you. Am I the asshole or is my dad the asshole for throwing away my favorite jeans after I got dog poop on them, even though I made it clear I had plans to keep and clean them? There is a bit of a twist to this one. A couple of months ago, I took my little sister to a park and accidentally got dog poop over my favorite pair of jeans. It was really gross, so I didn't want to wash them in our home laundry machine and told myself I'll take care of it by deep cleaning them in a laundromat sometime with the appropriate chemicals, baking soda to get rid of the odor, etc. Maybe I'm weird, but I'm super picky with clothes, and was happy to finally have a pair of favorite jeans I finally felt confident in. So I wanted to at least try saving them. I wrapped them in a plastic trash bag and put it outside, but I've been putting it off for months because I'm a bit of a procrastinator and not having a car makes going to the laundromat difficult. Over the past 3 or 4 months, my parents have been giving me a super hard time, teasing me about how I should throw the jeans away. They probably have parasites, etc. I've been begging them for months not to do anything with the bag and that I'll take care of it. They just keep teasing me, but I try to change the subject. Today I came home after 4 days away to my jeans gone. I asked my dad what happened and he said he opened the bag while he was drunk and the smell was so overwhelming he threw my favorite jeans away. Ugh, that bag has been festering and fermenting for months. Ugh. Sorry if you're eating, by the way. To be fair, I did give a warning. I just feel super frustrated and disrespected because he threw away my favorite pair of jeans that I paid $120 for even though I begged my parents numerous times not to touch them for months because I had plans of deep cleaning them. He said he'd give me the money back, but it's not about the money for me. I didn't even feel sad when my PS4 iPhone, both paid for by myself as well as my jeans, broke years ago. They were my favorite pair of jeans I really loved and I would have wanted to at least study the exact size to get the best similar replacement had I felt they were beyond saving. But now they're gone and I can't even do that. Am I overreacting or is my dad the asshole here? I'd have a very different opinion if you had mentioned even once that you had begged your parents numerous times to take you to a laundromat to get them fixed. But it sounds more like you use that as an excuse as you are a, procrastinator, and I understand that. I procrastinate too on things sometimes. But Your parents were teasing you. That would have been the perfect opportunity to be like, yeah, can you take me to the laundromat so I can get this cleaned? But instead you said you would handle it, and you never did. And eventually it reached a point where the jeans were most certainly beyond saving, and your dad, while intoxicated, threw them away. Should he have done that? Honestly, yeah, he probably should have. After 4 months of your jeans just festering and sitting outside, I don't know if they could have been saved. But if you, my dear listeners, are ever in this situation, the best thing to do is lay them out in grass or rocks or something, sprinkle a ton of baking soda, hydrogen peroxide, or something that doesn't pull the dyes out of the jeans over the stain. Grab the garden hose that down, possibly on the jet setting. Once all the poopy's off, you do it again with another round of baking soda, spray it down again. That should at least get it into a position where you can safely put it in the washer without feeling disgusted by it. Also, if you're curious with the compatible wash settings with your clothing, check the tag for it. It'll oftentimes give you enough information for you to properly assess if it's compatible with hydrogen peroxide. If all else fails, you can always become a local plague herald and terrorize your local Walmart. Don't forget, this is brought to you by GamerSups. Use code ODDS at checkout. It's basically a caffeine powder that you put in your water, and I actually really like it. I use this on a daily basis. Don't forget that every purchase you make using code ODDS directly supports the channel. And if you want a personal recommendation from me, I would either recommend the Soda Pressing Pear or Dragon Fruit Punch. Those two are currently my favorite flavors. And as a note, once we sell a certain amount of stuff, I get my own flavor and my own cup, and you all know I'm gonna choose some degenerate shit that's gonna make their PR team squirm. My goal is to make them regret partnering with me. So please, use code ODDS at checkout to make my dream come true of making a PR team squirm.